Goddamn honey badgers. Bro, dancing. Why can't he dance? He just wants to dance. Okay, so I saw this around. I watched this. So this is The Gamer Movies is a Strange Mess. So if you're not ancient, you may not know this. But I watched it when I was like a kid. So it was like released in 2009. And I thought it was very relevant because some dude made some weird post about how gamer has such a great meaning for gamers in the 20th century. It teaches a great lesson for men or some bullshit. I don't know. And it was so dumb. But, that was a kid. I was zoomer, zoom. But I actually watched it twice. But even I remember from watching it, even though it was gamer, like virtual games, I'm pretty sure it had a very anti-gaming stance. You know, because I think one of the things was that it was like, took a stance that it made you more desensitized to violence, which overexposure could, I guess, to anything, make you desensitized to it. But yeah, it's like 30 minutes.
2009 movie starring sex.
I'm older than a dinosaur. Nah.
Sexy muscle action man Gerard Butler is the brainchild of directing duo Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, who are also responsible for such works as Crank and Crank 2. Where other sexy muscle action man, Jason Statham...
Okay, don't judge me. I like Jason Statham movies. They're fun, okay? They're fun. I like him in everything he's ever in.
Barack Obama.
Plays an assassin that has to constantly keep his adrenaline high
and
to
Crank
stay
is
alive.
Funny. It's really stupid, but funny.
The humble green screen.
They also directed one of the Ghost Rider movies, and he's in Fortnite now.
So we gotta get a dub with Ghost Rider. We just have to.
Now, Gamer scored a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb and an overall 27 on Metacritic, with such reviews as 1 out of 10, what a load of rubbish, 1 out of 10, it's offensively stereotypical, 1 out of 10, about as entertaining as having your legs amputated, and 2 out of 10, seriously? And when it comes to box...
I don't remember it being that bad, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty insulting to gamers, so that might be why.
Office performance, Gamer had a budget of $50 million, and on release, managed to pull in a whopping $42 million.
Holy shit.
Now, I've already made my opinion on the use of the word gamer in popular media pretty clear, but when I was making that video, this movie just seemed to keep popping up all over the place. And at first, I just forcefully pushed it to the back of my mind, acting like it never existed. But recently, I did the unthinkable.
Don't forget, guys, we're looking for this great...
I watched it, and boy was it something. The movie opens with Gerard's character, Cable, running and gunning his way through a derelict building, riddled with baddies, which in theory sounds like a pretty action-packed opening to a film. Except, it seems that the editors were in the process of having a fucking seizure. I mean, the amount of quick cuts, glitch effects, and jarring camera...
To be fair, yeah, true. That's true.
In the opening sequence alone is enough to make you stop watching the film in the first 5 minutes. It actually got physically difficult to understand what was happening.
Let's watch this and see if you still feel the same.
At points, due to all the random shit all over the screen, and with Gina, and then suck his magical lollipop that disappears between camera angles. In a strange change.
You know, so he can have something to show that he's a giant asshole. I love the movie, like, stuff that for some reason, if they're showing to you, like, eating something like an apple or something like that, you automatically assume they're more of a dick. It's like...
we cut to the bleak white sand dunes of the prison system, where one of the prisoners has managed to cut free and caves one of the officers' skull in with a rock. He gets caught, runs away, and then shoots into the sky with absolutely no explanation at all. Meanwhile, Cable is experiencing a generic movie flashback moment to spending time with his family before being rudely interrupted by this pointless side character with a gammy tooth.
Colgate Total has complete 12-hour protection.
He asks Cable how he ended up in prison, prompting yet another flashback where we see a man dead at a table. Unknown to Cable, outside of the prison, his wife, Angie, is running low on money. So of course, she decides to volunteer to join the society to get some extra cash.
Great!
And you know what that means? Another excuse to push an overly sexual montage full of nudity and random shock imagery. But if Angie has joined the society as an actor, who is the player controlling her? Well, it's none other than a fat, morbidly obese, sweaty Redditor that dunks...
Yeah, this is... You can see how it's kind of seen as anti-gaming. Because this is what gamers are, guys. This is what gamers are.
...his waffles in maple syrup before shoving them down his gullet. I guess this was the filmmaker's take on a stereotypical basement-dwelling gamer.
Okay, is it bad? This kind of makes me want to watch the movie again. It's like, even though he's talking about how shit it is, it's like, I could watch it. I prefer pancakes.
Because why
Who
not
eats
release
like
a
that,
movie with
though?
the title
Who eats
Gamer
like that?
and then go on to insult the look of a gamer in the movie called Gamer?
To be fair, like, 2000s, that's what people thought gamers were.
Nice job,
Let's
team.
go.
He eventually
Let's watch
manages to
Gamer.
control Angie to flirt with some
Schedules
random
Gamer
bloke
for this
wearing a
time
plastic
tomorrow.
pig snout. Before the
So many goddamn TV remotes. Hands is insane, right? Okay, to be fair, I'm not a... if you could control humans...
sweaty
I
Reddit man
wouldn't
can
think-
get his nut off, he gets a
probably would do
screamer
this.
from Ludacris.
They probably would control people like this to do horny dog things, but I don't know, like... If they would do the same things if it was an avatar. I don't know if it would be as popular. as people
What's
think it
going
would
on,
be.
ladies and gentlemen?
Cable is
Another
also
monitor.
visited in prison by a mysterious figure
Exactly.
that hands him the crumpled up image of his
Also,
daughter
he's using
that
TVs.
Angie was
He's playing this like game you know would be a computer game, but it's a bunch of TVs. Why?
looking at earlier on. After signing an autograph, he gets jabbed in the hand with a strange device,
Oh my God.
seemingly taking a blood sample.
To prove it's authentic makes it worth more.
But before Cable even has time to ask why, the mysterious figure has vanished.
Just
Back on the
stabs him.
battleground, Cable takes part in his 28th
You know it's
game
better to-
in yet another
Yes.
pointless and unnecessary gory action scene filled to the brim with excessive gunfire.
Okay, he's not getting it. Unnecessary action scene? Action movies back in the 2000s was only unnecessary action scenes. It was just an excuse to pew pew, okay? It felt like everyone was just excited that we could have violence.
And bloodshed for shock value. But
Yeah.
we do get a clearer view of Simon actually controlling Cable this time. Eventually, we learn that Cable won the match, managing to slaughter 132 other Slayers throughout the game. And it turns out that millions of people around the world were tuned in to watch Cable brutally murder people on TV. You know, just cheering with a cold beer while a man gets his head blown off with a rifle.
See, I feel like
Ooh, fuck yeah. And they clearly
like it's supposed to be the future. Like seeing humans used to, go to freaking gladiator matches. I don't think it's like so far fetched that if slowly eased into it, they could get there. Honestly, I don't think it's that crazy. But yeah, because that's pretty much it is. It's a parody on a gladiator ring.
They just used
arena.
footage from huge real-world events and played it off like these were massive crowds
Oh my God.
watching Slayers live on TV. So as the 28th battle
Hilarious.
rounds to a close, we finally get properly introduced to Cable's player and puppet master of
What the fuck is he eating? That's green.
sorts, Simon, as he wanders into his bedroom that is just a comically large 360 LCD screen. Now I get what they were going for with this. It's kind of like that Black Mirror episode where Daniel Kaluuya's character spends most of his time in a room made entirely of screens, except that episode was good and well written, and this movie is shit.
Gay, tardily gay.
Somebody had to write this line
To be fair, gamers kind of do talk like it's like someone had to write this. But okay, if you played a video game 2000 even now, this is not inaccurate. I
into
feel.
the script. Anyway, Simon makes contact with the likes of Sticky
just
Muffin
got his
and
Tinder
cum
matches.
dumpsters, where they engage in a highly intellectual conversation.
You wanna see us,
Breasts.
Simon?
I think it's pretty
Boobies.
safe to
And then you
say
get to
that
see
Neville, Dean and
boobies.
Taylor are a pair of raging horny perverts that can only create movies that feature
Breasts.
every 5 minutes and hope that that makes up for the painfully far-fetched bad storytelling. And you know what? I think it's working.
You were.
I knew it because it does kind of. It does. It's like if you need enough shock value to cover up your lack of a plot.
earned a platinum medal.
Eventually,
It's the same with the rule of cool animes where it's all action. It has to have enough cool action to cover up that you don't really have a plot. We're watching the
after Simon's
the
sexual-driven
gamer movie is a
nonsense,
strange
the
mess.
screen seems to abruptly cut to a video. It depicts the same interrogation room from Cable's flashback in the prison, but this time we see a couple of frames that reveal that Cable...
Shove enough titties and violence at something will cover up any poor workmanship. Corn. Little column A? Well, it's about gamers, so of course there's a lot of softcore. Corn. Like, they're gamers. They're horn dogs. They're coomers. The Gamer movie is a strange mess. It's about a movie Gamer released in 2009.
was ultimately...
I thought it would be interesting because some guy who was a gamer referenced this movie as having some deeper meaning for why he thinks, I don't know, woke shit ruined media or something. It was really funny to read. But, so I remember watching this when I was a kid, so I wanted to go over it again.
The killer, but his motive is still unclear. A voice explains to Simon that he can download walkietalkie.exe, and
that's how I ruined my computer. And welcome, Sir Nix.
Will allow Simon to communicate with Cable during their matches via voice chat, a feature that isn't legally an option within the Slayers program. How and why was Simon picked to control Cable? Did they just join a random COD lobby and pick a player at random to control Cable? The film just gives no backstory on Simon at all. I mean, let's be real, with all the blood and gore in Slayers, it would most definitely be rated an 18. And in that case, Simon isn't even legally old enough to play the game he's supposedly the best at.
I don't know what age what he's supposed to be, but that actor has looked 16 for the last 20 years, so it's hard to tell.
Simon isn't the only one that's been paid a visit. Back in his prison cell, Cable is visited a second time. The visitor tells Cable that they know that he's been talking to Simon and reveals Castle's plan to murder him in cold blood. The visitor also mentions to Cable that on the outside, his wife and daughter need his help and that he has to come up with a plan to escape as soon as possible.
This is when they try and
Cable takes in the newfound info
18.
and asks for a singular item.
I need you to get me something.
Cue the start of Game 30, Cable's last match. And what was that singular item, you ask? Well, none other than a bottle of vodka. Cable literally slams the entire bottle and smashes a security camera. The alcohol then somehow takes effect in a couple of seconds, with Cable rolling all around the battlefield.
I know,
Simon
I
watches
the
the drunk antics from his gamer room.
Kill something! Fell on my ass.
Eventually, Cable makes his way into a car park, finds a stray car, and then vomits and pisses into the fuel tank.
Pee actually has the same sort of elements that fuel does.
He smashes the window, hotwires
I don't know
the car,
if I believe that. People may say it's true, but something in me tells me it doesn't feel right.
Floors that shit. But Terry pounces on the car, frantically trying to blow Cable's brains out. Cable gives him a few swift elbows and smashes him against a concrete pillar. Cable supposedly sobers up instantly, driving the car perfectly out onto the street. There's some more all over the place generic action shots before Cable crashes the car through the map border. He gets caught in a huge blast, and we watch all the people around the world find out that Cable has to society where we see that Angie's in some sort of cyberpunk-looking bar, flooded with more unnecessary nudity and strange imagery. In the worst sequence in the entire movie, Angie is approached by a bloke literally called Rick Rape. His surname is Rape, because I guess somebody thought that that was a good idea.
I can't believe they got this guy to do this. Be so weird.
The sweaty Reddit man gets horned up again, making Angie flirt with Rick against her will, and they soon end up in a hotel room. But before we can see Rick's prick, Cable comes in and snaps his spine over his knee. He then tries to get through to Angie in a surreal sequence.
Sucks to be the guy that was just being controlled. Like, he killed just some poor actor.
It's where we watch Gerard Butler talk to a sweaty Redditor through his movie wife.
I have no doubt that Reddit is improving
my life.
Cable then tries to help
Wait,
Angie
oh
escape,
my God.
but Terry is in the elevator. He blasts Cable through a window, but thankfully he was wearing the bulletproof vest that Simon purchased for him before he was hacked by Ludacris. Terry drags Angie into the elevator, and after two people walk in and randomly start making out, Terry quickly draws a knife. Angie panics, but the sweaty Reddit man controls her to give Terry the go-ahead. Terry follows orders, and the Reddit man climaxes like he just got top post on r/memes. Cable
The fuck?
smashes Terry against a wall, smacks him across the face, blows his foot off, and manages to fend off against Castle security. For saying Terry was meant to be Castle's
This is
big
weirder
plan
than
to
I
kill
remember, that's
Cable,
for sure.
he was pretty shit. I mean, multiple opportunities to kill Cable, and he failed every single time. Once outside, Cable asks the Reddit man where to go, and he leads the two of them through a rave. After making it out of the club, Cable and Angie get pulled up on by Gina. They climb into the van, and she reveals that she's on their side, and wants to help them take down Castle, because why not, I guess? The movie doesn't really
She's got
explain
nothing
why
better to
Gina
do.
has any motive to do this. I guess to get a story for a show.
Reporters were like unhinged in a lot of movies. They would be like, I'll do fucking anything. Anything for the story. I'll like almost die for this. April O'Neil like set the standard for crazy unhinged reporters.
But it all seems pretty far-fetched to do all of this just for a news story. Whilst all of this is taking place, we see Simon being interrogated by Keith David. He tries to get to the bottom of how Cable escaped and if Simon had anything to do with it. Overall, they have a pretty in-depth conversation where everybody cheers for Castle's death. It seems that everybody in this universe just loves to watch murder on TV. Cable is reunited with his family, they live happily ever after, and the title credits roll. All 10 minutes of them. 10 minutes of the movie's runtime is credits. How did it take this many people to make a movie this shit? Overall, Gamer is a movie that, if written well, might have had an ounce of potential. The movie is basically just 90 minutes of watching talented actors play two-dimensional shallow characters with motives that make no real sense and are just there to drive forward the shitty plot. None of the performances were exactly bad, but even an Oscar-worthy acting performance couldn't save this movie. It's a mess of jarring camera shots, excessive generic action scenes, along with a myriad of unanswered plot holes. Not to mention, the film basically insults the people that it's named after. I guess it's just another bad movie to add to Neville Dean and Taylor's portfolio.
How
and more
dare
proof
they say Crank is bad?
that anything with the word gamer
good
attached to
trash.
it is never a good thing.
How was Gamer?
Well, I didn't like it. I didn't like the...
Did you leave the theater early?
Yeah. I like action, but it's not well put together, I don't think.
I give it 2 stars out of 10. Seriously? And with all of that said, goodbye!
Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I would say it's like, can be okay trash, but you can't expect them to actually answer anything they did, even from my memory of what it was. There was like a lot of unanswered questions. But they pew pew. Oh my god. Oh, so I'll put something in media. Let me see what's in here. Oh my god, it's more of the Japanese guy. I don't know. I have a bit of a headache coming on, so I don't think I'll watch that today just because it's gonna fry my brain. But one sec, I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll see if that feels better. It's very calm in here. Action is okay. Other is kind of terrible. Other?